Right, so for some people, probably you feel quite sleepy. A lot of people tired so. They probably feel tired, nervous, excited, happy, and not feeling good, hungry and sleepy, nothing to complain, want to enjoy your lunch, all right? Yeah, it's almost like our lunchtime. And we like to go out, yeah. But unfortunately, because we are still in a time or in a period of lockdown, so probably you have to stay home mostly. And probably some people feel kind of nice and want to go out as well. All right. So basically today we are going to talk about something you can do at home, and you can watch some English news and also try to learn some new words, and also try to catch up with the information, especially the latest information around the world. So here I'm going to introduce slides I use online, and on the slides probably you can catch up some news and you can try to watch the news report yourself first, and later on you can also share some of your thoughts about the news on our board or the classwork. All right, so basically there will be something we are going to do here. And some people mention that all English, so it's hard to understand. But in our school, basically, for some of the classes, our English lesson will basically be taught in English mostly. So hopefully you can try to get used to the mode, like this kind of all English mode in our class. And I think when the semester starts, there'll be another two English teachers who will kind of teach you in your own classes as a freshman. And I think those two teachers probably will use like mostly like they probably will just use English in their class time. So hopefully this summer course will help you to get used to this kind of mode a little bit, and probably you will feel not that nervous when the new semester begins, right? And if I speak too fast, please you just tell me, just raise your hand or just type your message in the chat box, and I'll try to slow down my speed and try to help you understand what I'm talking about. And if there's still something you cannot, you cannot really get it, please also tell me. I'll try to make it simple and try to make it easy for you to understand. All right. So basically for today, we will begin our class with a news report from ABCBTN, which is behind the news channel. And I'll elaborate some of the news, and I'll tell what you can do with the news episodes we have here. So basically, firstly, for this work we are going to have here, I will give you the QR code and link on the classwork board as well, so don't worry. So we just follow the step first. All right, so firstly, we will go to the slide of the news break, and then the very first step will be watch a news report. So for example, today I'm going to share you the news report about the Olympics, all right? And then we can take a look at this report together. So please wait a second.
Hey everyone, my name's Amal and you're watching Newsbreak. Coming up on today's show, why there won't be any spectators at the Olympic Games, Ash Barty through to her first Wimbledon final, and this giant 3D cat. But before we get into any of that, why don't you hit that subscribe button? There now won't be any spectators at the Olympic Games in Japan. The government's declared Tokyo will fall under a state of emergency during the Games because it's dealing with so many new COVID cases. Leela explains.
Yeah, when it comes to crowds at the Olympics, it's been a journey. First, overseas crowds couldn't come. Then, they limited local crowds at venues to 10,000. And now, it's not going to look a whole lot different from this. Because crowds are now completely cancelled. Japan has been struggling with a COVID outbreak of the highly contagious Delta variant. Cases have been rising, and now Tokyo will be in a state of emergency during the games.
It means people will have to stay home, so they won't be able to attend the games because they'll be at home, so they won't be able to go to the...
But maybe some fun alternatives that we've seen before could help improve the atmosphere. Robots? Cardboard cutouts? Mannequins? Live stream? Oh, everybody in a bubble. No matter what, it's going to be pretty strange for the athletes.
It's definitely a bummer. I think we always enjoyed bands.
This will be the first ever Olympics to have no crowds, so we'll all just have to cheer on from home.
I hope that everyone around the world tunes in and still enjoys it and recognizes the beauty of the work that all of these athletes have put in.
Ash Barty is through to her first ever Wimbledon final.
All right, so we'll stop at the video clip here. All right, so during the news report, did you find any words that you feel quite interested or you feel quite good in the news report, or somewhere you feel quite nice, or somewhere you feel quite special? So please try to type any word you feel is the most important one and the most interesting one in the chat box during the news report, right? So I'll give you 1 minute to type the words you catch from the news report. All right, so we still have 30 seconds. So basically, a lot of people type the word like bubble, Olympic, or emergency, overseas, variant, entire, or crowd. or like stay at home or stay home, all right? Or variant again, and then Olympic, right? So probably here might be some of the keywords you catch from the news episode or from the news report. And now we are going to take a close look at the news article we have here. So as you can see here, for the second step, which will be something like second. So after we watch a news report, we'll try to read a news article on the slide as well. And then let's take a look at the news article we have here on the slide. Right, so if you have a notebook with you, probably you can take your notebook and try to note down some keywords you can memorize, right? And also some key phrases about the news report. So if you have a notebook with you, you can take out notebook or take out notes, and you can take notes while I'm trying to explain some of the details about the story, right? So for the very first one, as you can see here, fans banned from attending Olympics after Japan declares state of emergency. So as you can see here, the very first keyword, which is banned from, okay, banned from. So which means fans are banned from attending Olympics after Japan declares state of emergency. So the very first keyword, ban from, which means stop from or keep from. So you can take a look at keyword number one. Ban someone from doing something, which means you stop someone from doing something, all right? And there are some other words you probably can try to memorize, probably like the word like keep. Okay, you keep someone from doing something. You stop someone from doing something, or you ban someone from doing something, right? And probably another word you will know will be prevent. Okay, prevent someone from doing something. So as we know, because of COVID-19, fans are banned from attending Olympics. Fans are kept from attending Olympics, or fans are stopped from attending Olympics. Another word, probably you don't quite get it, will be the word attend. Okay, so there will be the word attend. I'll type in the chat box. So attend, here it's used as a verb. When you attend something, which means you join something or you go to a place. For example, you can say, I attend my school at 8 o'clock in the morning. So attend school, which means go to school. Or you can say, I will attend a meeting in the afternoon. In this case, attend a meeting, which means you join a meeting. All right, so when you attend something, which means you join something or you go to somewhere, you can use the word attend. Okay? Attend a meeting or join a meeting. All right, so that's a word, attend. So as you can see here, fans are banned from attending Olympics after Japan declares state of emergency. All right, so there's another keyword probably you don't quite get it, will be emergency, right? So probably after Japan says something about emergency, the word declare, D-E-C-L-A-R-E, declared. Here is also a verb. When you declare something, which means you say something, but declare, this word will be used by the government or something very formal or something very official. So declare simply means you tell something or you say something. but this word will be more official or more formal. Okay, declare something. And for the word state, so state here means the situation or the condition. So here we use state as a noun as well. So state here means the situation of emergency. So you know the word emergency, right? So when you go to the hospital, there will be an emergency room. And emergency rooms will be used for those patients or for those sick people who are kind of severely or seriously ill or injured, and they need something, they need a kind of very quick treatment, and they will call the word emergency. So which means the situation is quite dangerous or quite safe. So if you think the situation is quite dangerous, please raise your hand. So when Japan declares state of emergency, the situation is quite dangerous or safe. You think it's dangerous, please raise your hand. Yeah, probably will be something quite dangerous, right? So that's why Japan will declare state of emergency, which means a kind of dangerous situation, a kind of dangerous condition. So it move on to tell that when it comes to crowds at the Olympics, so when it comes to, or you can say speaking of, it's in the keyword number 2. When it comes to something, or speaking of something, which means what? When we talk about something, so which simply means like about something, right? So when it comes to crowds, so which means when we talk about crowds at the Olympics, it has been a journey. First, overseas fans couldn't come. So overseas friends, which means friends that come from overseas. So which means fans that are from some other foreign countries. So for example, if it is about the situation here in Japan, probably there will be some fans from the United States, from Taiwan, from Korea, or from China. And in this case, these fans are overseas fans. And because they couldn't come, and then they limited local crowds at venues to 10,000 people or 10,000. That's another keyword for keyword number 3. Venue here means the places. So for the venue of the Olympics, there will be something about like sports centers or the track and field or the playground, for example. So there will be the venues. So venues, which means the places or the sites. But as we know, venue, this word will be something more formal, right? So far, do you have any questions? Yes, so Guanling, what is your question? No? All right, so I'll move forward. So now crowds are completely canceled. So which means crowds are all canceled. Completely here means all. So crowds are all canceled. Japan has been struggling with a COVID outbreak or the highly contagious Delta variant. All right, so here are some keywords that you have to learn in high school. The very first one will be struggle with. So when you struggle with something, which means you work very hard with something and you try to win over it. So that's why we use the word struggle, which means you try to work very hard and you try to win, and that will be the word struggle. So Japan has been struggling with a COVID outbreak. So when we say the word outbreak, which means something happened, all right? Which means something just like happened, and then something quite serious or something quite severe or something quite kind of viral, and you will use the word outbreak, just like something break out or something happened. And as we know, recently we had Delta variant, right? So you watch the news report here in Taiwan. Also recently, we are also talking about Delta, right? Delta variant. And we know Delta variants are very contagious. So there's another key adjective we have here. That will be for number 5, contagious, all right? So when something is very contagious, which means what? For example, we say Delta variant. The Delta variant is very contagious, which means it will spread from one person to another very quickly and very easily, and will be said, or this kind of disease or this kind of illness is very contagious, which means they will pass from one person to another very quickly and very easily. So that's why we use like contagious to describe the Delta variant, all right? Because they will pass from one person to another person very quickly and very easily. And the last one, Tokyo will be in a state of emergency. So state here means the status or situation or condition. But we also know that state could be something different. For example, we mentioned that United States, right? USA or United States, US. States can mean an area or a region, all right? They can use the word state as well. But state here means situation or condition. So in a kind of emergency situation, in a kind of emergency condition. So as I mentioned, there will be kind of something very dangerous in the area. So in the end, it mentioned that probably this will be the first ever Olympics to have no crowds. Thus, we just have a cheer on from home. So probably we can just like celebrate or cheer on from home because we cannot be the audience, we cannot be the viewers, or we cannot be the people who can just watch the games on the spot or just over there. We can just watch them on TV. So that's why we can only cheer on from home, right? So that's roughly about all the news report about the Olympics we have here for the news episode. And then let's take a look what you are going to do for the next step. So after we read the news article, you can also try to look up the words in the dictionary or check the new words and try to remember them and try to memorize them. And then you can copy your favorite sentence, all right? So like this one, for example, what might be my favorite sentence for this one? For example, probably we can say Japan has been struggling with a COVID outbreak or contagious Delta variant. I think this sentence is the best sentence in this news article. And then I copy this sentence. Then you move on to our classwork or just the string or the information of in our the place of the Google Classroom here. So I'll share the tab here. All right, so for the information I provided here, basically I tell you the step to do something like this one. So you watch the news report and read this article and take notes and check the vocabulary and memorize some of the keywords and phrases yourself. And then you copy any sentence that interests you. So after you finish all the steps we have here, then you can copy any sentence that interests you and try to put here. Probably I can delete information here first. Sorry, it's not this one. All right, so just firstly, just type your grade. And in this case, you want all grade 10, so just type G10 here, and then type your number here. And then with this one, and make sure you put a space after each punctuation mark, all right? This is for English typing. And then you just paste your lovely sentence here, all right? So for example, Japan has been struggling with COVID outbreak or the highly contagious Delta variant. And then you make the comment we have here, all right? So after you watch a news report, please try to make a comment like this one. You just copy any sentence you like. So basically, there will be grade 10, and then tell me your number, all right? And we have hyphen here in the middle, and then copy the sentence you like, all right? So since we have mentioned the news here, so you can just check the news article from the link I provided here, all right? And then you can choose any news report you like this week, all right? So I hope you are going to read 2 news reports from the slides I have here. So for example, when you go to the link we have here, there'll be different kinds of news presented here, all right? And then if you want to watch the news report, you can just type keyword here, and then you can just open the link, okay? And then you will move on to the news report we have here online. So we can wait a moment, a little bit. Right, so probably you can check the news report yourself later on. So each week, please try to read 2 news articles here based on anything you like, all right? So here we have different kinds of news report you can check, right? And all about the recent news. And then you just follow the step I mentioned here, okay? So let's take a quick overview about what you are going to do for the with the Newsbreak episode we have here. So firstly, we watch a news report and you just pick up anything you like from the slide. Then you read a news article and try to memorize and check those keywords. And in the end, try to copy your favorite sentence in the news article. And then you just make it into a comment, like the one I have here. So please try to share your favorite sentence about the news report here, all right, on the screen. So there will be the things you have to do for the intro to the news break. So make sure you do 2 sentences here, which means you are going to watch 2 news reports, all right? So far, so good. So can you tell me how many news reports we are going to watch every week? Please type your answer in the chat box. How many news reports? Yes, 2, right? And how many sentences are we going to copy from a news report? How many? Yeah, just 1 sentence. But here, how many sentences are we going to copy every week? Yeah, 2 sentences. So basically, watch 2 news reports, read 2 news articles, memorize those new words, and try to post 2 sentences from each news report, the one you pick up for each week. So please put the very first week ones here on this board, all right? So there will be the one we are going to do for the news break. And Secondly, yes, one more reminder I would like to share with you a little bit. So please also wait a second. Basically, I checked some of your intros on the Padlet, but I think probably there will be some missing information. So I would like to explain this one again, and please make sure you correct your intro or revise your intro based on the steps I just mentioned here and also the one I mentioned yesterday. So basically, the very first step you are going to do will be you have to think about one adjective to describe your name in a part of the title. So in other words, your adjective has to share the same sound with your name. For example, my name is Yongting, so there'll be y sound. So there'll be Yummy, right? Yummy Yongting, right? And if your name is like Howard, right? There'll be sound, H sound. So you have to think about like Happy Howard or Hardworking Howard. Or if your name starts from V, there'll be like Victory or like, I don't know, like Vivid, all right? Like Vivian, for example, like Vivid Vivian, for example. So like Victorious, okay, for example. So there'll be the word you can think about how you like to figure out an adjective to describe your name, all right? So you have to think about the adjective they share the same sound, all right, as your name. So that's the very first things you have to pay attention to, all right? So like Vivian would be Victorious Vivian or Vivid Vivian, for example. Then, secondly, you have to use a sentence to describe yourself. But for this sentence, there will be something related to your number. So if my number is 6, here, I will use one sentence to talk about myself, especially something related to number 6. So for example, I'm the person, Yongting is a multilingual learner who can speak 6 different languages. And then next step, the very first hashtag, okay, so there'll be number 6 here. And make sure when you make a hashtag, you have to keep a space, okay, so a space behind each hashtag. So between 6 and languages, here I have a space here, right? And between languages and unbelievable, I also have a space here. So make sure you have a space between each hashtag or between each word. There's also another kind of rules for English writing. Then we'll move on to the next one. Hashtag 2 will be your feature. So for example, there will be about languages, and I hashtag languages here. So usually here will be a noun, right? So languages or any noun, like if you like baseball, there'll be baseball, basketball here. And for hashtag number 3, you are going to have an adjective to describe people's feedback on your intro. So for example, when you introduce yourself like this, what might be the feelings, or what might be the feedback of other people on your intro? Okay, so think about, you have to figure out one adjective, all right? Adjective to talk about your feeling. Then for hashtag number 4, you have to tell your basic information, just like grade 10, which number, and also your Chinese name. And also you have to keep a space. And then the last one will be your high school, all right? So make sure you have to have 5 hashtags for each one, all right? Then another 2 reminder that will be you have to post your photo as well, or otherwise I cannot recognize, I cannot identify who you are. So make sure you post your photo. And the last one, for English writing, make sure you have a space after each hashtag, as you can see here. Like between 6 languages, we have hashtag, or a hashtag behind each punctuation. So like this one have a space, okay, a space behind each punctuation mark, all right? So there will be some basic rules for English when you typing that on the internet, all right? So make sure you put them in the right way. So to sum up, how many hashtags are you going to put for your intro? Yeah, we need 5 hashtags, right? So for the very first hashtag will be the number you have, right? For the second hashtag, it should be a noun or an adjective. If it is a noun, type 1. If adjective, type 2. For the second hashtag, it should be a noun or an adjective. 1 for noun, 2 for adjective. Which one? Yeah, it should be a noun, or I make sure to put a noun, just like languages I have here. For the third hashtag, you have to be something like an adjective, all right? So there will be something like unbelievable, okay, unbelievable, all right? So how many pictures or how many photos are you going to put for your intro? Please type the number or the photo you have to create. Yeah, just 1 photo, right? For me to recognize who you are, all right? So before we log into our Google Meet tomorrow or today, make sure you try to revise your self-intro on the Padlet following the steps. If you will kind of afraid that you'll forget everything, I also put the photo here. So like this one, for our course orientation, this one, you can just check anything I put here, and you can just check this one by one after another to make sure your intro post is complete and also clear enough. So that will be the very first thing. Revise your intro on our class Padlet. Second, for this week, please pick up any news report you like, and then try to read the article and watch the news report first and read the article, check the keywords, memorize the new words, and then share sentences on the board as well. And let's do this quite quick review again. So how many sentences are you going to post for a week? Please type your answers. Yeah, 2 sentences. And how many news reports are you going to watch every week? Please type your answers. Yeah, also 2, right? So how many sentences do you need to copy from a news report? Yeah, 1 sentence, all right? So hopefully you can enjoy watching the news report here online, and then you can try to complete your self-intro on the Padlet online as well, all right? So if there's no more question, see you tomorrow, and hopefully you enjoy your lovely or delicious lunch later, all right? See you around tomorrow. Bye.